All right. Time to get started. So, I'm going to be making a level on how Gentry chains straighten. I already had this room. I modified it just a little bit. So, because of these, hot tiles, you can't. The Gentry keeps moving, and its chain stays in the same position. And I widened the area a little bit so that this straightening process takes 2 turns and is hopefully easier to observe. And and there's some other rooms that I started on but didn't finish making yet. So now this room right now, I didn't build a way to get out of the top area. I made this for the main level, but it happened to involve chain straightening. And in particular, there's a way of doing this that results in not using any golems in the upper part at all. So that's just using the straightening. Oh, it turns out you can get out. So what I'm thinking of is modifying this a little bit so that you hit that whole bit you have to do and maybe make it a little more complicated. I'm just gonna try experimenting here. So that works, but it feels a little minimalistic. I don't know. Maybe it's fine as an early room. Maybe there's more I could do. And these lights were really, designed for a different set. I mean, I just copied this over and changed the style. Then there's this room, which was made by Lucky Luke, and it's based on a Briar room in the main level. It's pretty tricky. Alright, I keep getting diagonals. That's too much. And I can't slip. Yeah, so this one's tricky, and did not get it quite right. Oh, see, that's the thing. These open it. So the idea is you have to get the Gentry Eye in an arrangement where it straightens and gets a diagonal step, and that's pretty tricky. One thing I'm thinking of is that I do a preliminary room to show a structure that helps. Anyway, these are the previous rooms, but they have a bunch of things in them, so I'm planning to split them up. For instance, here I have this small segment where you can place a decoy to get a particular chain straightening result, and I want to do a whole room on placing decoys. And here I've got this, I'm trying to have this lesson on slack, and what I am trying to do is move the main puzzle here and make it a little harder. Although I don't quite have this done because in the current setup I need one more object. I'm not sure exactly how many rooms I'm going to do just yet, but I want to tutorialize some concepts, which are mainly the conditions, but another thing I want to teach is just how straightening works. So why don't I start with a little bit of a demonstration on that. I mean, this isn't going to be a room yet, but and here we're going to have something similar, but so the upper one goes completely straight because that's where the endpoint is, and the other one straightens with the leading Gentry Eye, you know, with the chains directly behind the Gentry Eye going orthogonal, and then this part goes diagonal because it can't go orthogonal. This particular trait is important for the Briar room. So I want to do some kind of puzzle that involves just demonstrating this behavior and helping players realize that this is how it works. So, you know, here's an example. So I think here what we would do is have a couple of just have a couple of and we'll put a passage here. And G, these held down. You know, just a lesson. I will probably move this further down in the room. And you know, it'll just be... So you observe that. And then, you know, a simple thing we can do over here. Is we can just have a couple. All right. So this would be a little mechanism where you have to do it in the middle. It still doesn't take much thought. Mostly it reinforces that they only straighten when they're chained up. So I think what we would actually want to do is something where you've got a bunch of cracked walls. And you have to break them so that the gentry will stay still, even after they fully straighten. So something like this. I would, you know, tweak things a bit, but... And I guess really this is all I would need to do, so I would want something trickier. But, you know, let's just put that in as a starting idea. I think that's more of a basic lesson in a room in and of itself. But you know, I could try to improve it. Alright, well. Now, I know this room is solvable, but I just can never quite remember what I did when I solved it. Yes, this one's very different. You would have solved the previous version. Wait, what even happened there? That's what happened. Okay, but it won't be able to escape. And let's see what happens when we straighten it. Okay, that worked. As you can see, it's pretty tricky there because I usually end up flailing a little bit, but this was a pretty good solution. I definitely like the room, but it's pretty tricky. Okay. So this one isn't complete yet. The thing is that my Lucky Luke realized that he could get this roach out. When originally I just designed this to... I was just trying to make this thing where you had to get the chain in a position where you could attack the roach through it. So this means you have a roach and a mirror, but with the setup I have right now, it takes 4 objects, and I hadn't really figured out what I wanted to do for the 4th, because Beethro can be one of the objects. And then, there's also the matter of getting the roach to somewhere that it can be used. I haven't really worked that into this yet. But in a previous version, and actually let me copy this one, just so I can remember the layout in case I decide to go back to it, but... So if I set up the chain like this, I can put Beethro here and the chain straightens, and doing that, we can go over here, and this roach has a completely straight path, unobstructed by the chain, and we can kill it. So the basic idea I was going for was the same thing, but you need to block the chain more. So I was going to try to make an arrangement where you needed the roach as well. And this chain layout requires 4 things. I think I was having trouble finding one that worked with only 3. But also I need to account for the roach and Beethro being in different places. But just as a proof of concept, if I have things there, that's enough to straighten the chain. But if I remove this, chain doesn't straighten. If I put this here, chain doesn't straighten. I need 4 things for the chain to straighten, and right now I've only got 3, and one of them is a roach. So, any thoughts on how I can improve this setup? Obviously, I need a 4th thing, or I need to make this only 3. Let's see. Whoops. Just for testing purposes, does this work? Okay, so that works as a shape that only requires 3, but it has a separate problem, which is the roach. But the roach and be-through the roach has to stay still while be-through goes somewhere. I wonder. Okay, so you can do that. Well, hold on. Does this work without the roach? Yeah, okay. So the roach is superfluous. Oop. What about here? Yeah, that one still does it. Okay, what about this? Okay, and if I put a roach here.
My name is Beethro.
Okay. And the next question is, can we get a roach in there? Alright. And I guess we'll want to set up so that we can't just somehow get that other roach in here. That's hard to arrange. Yeah, any thoughts on how to avoid breaking this by getting that roach out and letting it hit this plate? I mean, I guess we could do something like this. Something like close this off and surround it with hot tiles, but... let's see. Oh well, here's a simple one. And, you know, just... Okay, so that will work. Actually, let's use a spider. Or if we could put the, shallow water next to it, actually. There, now if it's a roach, it can't go in. If it's a golem, it can. Alright. So, we could decorate this up a bit, maybe separate them a bit more, but I think this is okay now. So, what we want to focus on, though, is a lesson about Slack so that room makes sense. Well, I can let the roach out, so potentially I would have been able to go in here and have the roach somewhere. Like, I could get the roach over here. Like, in the old version, I could, before I made this change, I could have done something like this. And the roach would come out. But now, because of the new setup, that's not going to work. Because I can't kill the roach. In fact, I don't think I need the tunnel anymore. Okay, I keep making a lot of misclicks these days. So right now I'm just gonna, put in the concept, which is if I put Beethrow in, this one straightens. This one doesn't because the chain has too much slack. But if I close the door, it doesn't have slack anymore, so it straightens. And, yeah, I'm just trying to provide a simpler lesson in this room. So, a demonstration like this. And just something to play around with. To get the core idea down. In order to help you realize what you have to do here. So, yeah, any thoughts on what can be done with this one? And I've got nothing right now, so instead I'm going to work on another idea I want to play around with, which is decoys. So we're probably going to have all these gentry. Yeah, you know, just several like this. I really haven't thought of the details at all. And the idea is basically that you use decoys to make them straighten. But this isn't really a puzzle. For one thing, there's no reason to straighten them. And I guess... And I guess to make sure, I'll just have a little mechanism here. And this is so this is just a rough concept rather than anything in particular. You know, I also might account for just, like, I've got diagonal chains here, and that makes the decoy positions matter less. So I'll probably set it up so their first link is orthogonal. But I also just don't have a core idea for the room yet. All I know is that I want to do something with using decoys to make chains straighten. And that involves positioning. Which, you know, I'm going to be doing a basic lesson on that in here. I think I'm mostly just making sketches now, although this is a complete puzzle now. And this is at least mostly complete. This is solvable at least, but it could be better. It's tricky to come up with these sorts of rooms, but I do have some ideas. Anyway, yeah, so I've taken this part out and expanded it into a full puzzle. So maybe in the tutorial I'll make the focus be on straightening chains so you can kill things diagonally across them. That's something to think about. And, you know, I just keep clicking the wrong place. And yeah, I guess I can show off these original tutorials. This is when I was trying to show everything in... basically show every idea in one room each. And here... basically, this is a simple test. Where you break the walls for the ones you don't want to have straight. And then here, these each affect a different one. Although it ends up being pretty trivial. But maybe I could do something a little more elaborate for one of the rooms on this subject. And here was this room was all about what position you need to be in relative to the Gentry Eye. This shows how it works with diagonals. So when you're here, only this first one, only these, you know, when you're here, only this one straightens. Oh, I guess this one does too, because you're south of him, and he's diagonal. Then here, when you're... Okay, I need to work on this. This doesn't quite work how I wanted, because I wanted to show that for these guys you have to be south or west. No, wait, that's right. That's what this is. And then this makes you go... This shows that that without the diagonal, only south goes. And without the diagonal, only the west one goes. And then this is just a decoy where you use that to make one Gentry Eye move, but not the other one. And this is just using that to make the chain stop in a particular place. So, yeah, I want to split this up, and in particular, I want the decoys to be its own room. But I don't really have a puzzle for that yet. But I do also want to teach the basics of relative positioning, which is probably going to involve something like this as the centerpiece. And I guess that's the state of the level. I'm having a bit of trouble getting my ideas together, but I do have some rough ideas, and you know, I've got these two in a workable state, and this one's basically fine. And then this one's pretty much complete, but pretty hard, and maybe I can, you know, have a room that prepares a bit more for it. Yeah, this wasn't as productive as I hoped, but I did get some work done, so thank you for watching. And I guess I'll poke at this on my own and see what happens. Thank you all.